you know what time it is. Another SBYGO deck profile with our good friend Jordan. He came back, you know. And would you like to tell us what happened this past weekend?
I went to Vegas. Went for the regional up in Vegas. I didn't go with like high expectations, but I had fun and I ended up doing really good. I topped 8 and gambled a little bit.
Oh, let's go, yeah. I mean, granted, you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh, so you're already gambling, right?
I won in Yu-Gi-Oh! I didn't really win in gambling this weekend. Kind of minus on that.
Hey, but you got top 8 though, so you know, technically you did win.
Yeah, I did win.
You know.
I left a winner.
I mean, granted, like it's a little late because it was the past weekend, but you know, it's always good to still have it.
You know? It's all good.
So yeah, is there anything you'd like to say before we go ahead and get this started?
Like I said, I had a good weekend. It was fun, Yu-Gi-Oh! And all the other stuff you can do in Vegas that's not Yu-Gi-Oh! But loved it all. Shout out to my boys that went with me, my boy Arturo, my boy Leo, and my sister, and obviously the Yu-Gi-Oh! Squad from San Isidro, and my boy Patrick. It's always a good time. But yeah, I mean, we could get into it.
All right, let's go ahead and do this then.
So this weekend I played Cash. Last regional I played Tier. I wanted to switch it up a bit. I know that Cash is kind of like busted right now, but I never got to play it aside from locals, so I just wanted to see how good I could do with it myself.
Oh, triple Rise Heart?
Triple Rise Heart this time around. The deck list again was provided by my homie Adrian from San Isidro. The second deck list he gives me, second time I top with one of his deck lists. Yeah, I ran 3 Fenrir, 2 Unicorns, 3 Rise Hearts, and 1 Scareclaw. This actually like plays around Droll so good. Like you usually go like Fenrir or Field Spell, and then ideally you'd have a monster in hand or Birth. But ideally what you do is you Fenrir or Unicorn, and then you could banish one of your cash monsters and bring it back with Birth, and it just plays around Joel because you're still able to go into like a Rise Heart with the right hand. And then always having like another cash monster. Like one of the big issues with this deck is never seeing like enough monsters or breaking.
Yeah.
While having like 2 of the spells or 1 of the spells, and then not having any of the monsters is just kind of minus. So this card just won games. And then the Banish 3 was actually kind of crazy. One time against Unchained, I banished like 2 of his soul monsters from the main deck.
Oh, nice.
And then his one of new Blue Dragon card. So I mean, it was solid. But yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy, nothing too new about this. But yeah.
Not playing the Tailorman's Cash?
No Tier Cash. Like I said, I just played the deck list. I didn't make the deck list, so I just trusted my friend. And I mean, it worked out. He was right. So yeah, I mean, hand traps, I really just played Ash. And then I also played 3 Imperms.
I mean, I feel like those are pretty standard regardless. Of,
and then I main Shifter. I know some people aren't maining Shifter, but it's Shifter. I played against like Branded Chimera twice, and opening a Shifter just wins games. It wins games against a lot of the decks right now. It wins against Unchained too, kind of slows them down a little bit. They don't have the best hand. Busted card, and it just benefits your deck.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, nothing too crazy here. I did see Ash a lot. It's just still the best hand trap in the game.
Stops a lot of things.
Yeah, so. It's just like, you would think it wouldn't like make an opponent like set and pass, and like it happened a few times. So it's just a good card.
Yeah.
Obviously the 1 Terraforming, 3 Field Spells, Standard. Played 3 Theosis.
That was a pretty standard, right?
Yeah, Standard. 3 Birth. Oh, a little sloppy right now.
Birth is broken.
Birth is busted. Like, your opponent can get rid of your whole board, and as long as you like still start your turn with Birth, it's like you still have like full combo next turn. So it's so good. Yeah, this deck needs to get hit big time. This whole engine is
just give it one last hurrah, you know, this past weekend.
Yeah, one last hurrah before it gets hit. But it's not the most fun deck to play, that's for sure. 3 pots, like I said, Standard. the MVP of the day is probably Lance. So many people used books because everybody's playing books in their deck.
Yeah.
And yeah, this card it does crazy things. It just protects your Arise Heart against branded Chimera. People don't even know that when you lance their monster in the middle of Chimera Fusion, it makes their monster not unable to fusion. You could usually only go into like the fusion, the wind monster, the regular Chimera, the mythical beast. But they can't go into Guardian Chimera. So usually, like, that's what they want to go into on your turn, and it kind of stops it from going into Guardian Chimera. So it's just such a good card.
Yeah.
It prevents your monsters from being flipped. It's definitely like the best card aside from the Cash Engine. But yeah, I mean, nothing too crazy, nothing too different from like all the other cash decks out there right now. And then obviously One Big Bang. It's good. I didn't personally play full combo with like Shangri Era and end like on Shangri Era plus Arise Heart. I just always Arise Heart pass. I never played into Nib just because you have no way of like negating Nib, or the only way to play around it with this deck is just Arise Heart pass, and that just won me the majority of my games.
Yeah.
That plus like my hand traps and all that. For the extra deck, again, nothing too different. One Arise.
Because we can only play one.
Yeah, because we can only play one. 2 Shangri Era. Some people play 3, but I think 2 is the right amount right now. Not that many people are playing cash.
Yeah.
And then so you don't really need a 3rd. I don't think I really went into 2. I usually banished one of these for prosperity at times. 2 Zeuses. Kind of same thing with this. I never really went into 2 myself personally. I usually went into 1, and the other one I would end up banishing for prosperity. You just have so many other cards in your extra deck that you can go into that Zeus isn't really like the biggest priority. But yeah, those are those 5. Obviously we have one big eye. Some people play 2. I like 1 just to make more room.
Yeah.
Red Eyes Flare for time or just to burn for damage, but I didn't go into time. I played pretty quick. My opponents played pretty quick, so it never really came up.
Oh, that's good.
Mecha Phantom Beast is good to play around like floodgates or things that you need to pop off the board. I usually didn't go into this as much this tournament. I mainly went into Dark Armed Dragon. This card's so good.
It's crazy. It's
yeah, and
really
then people
crazy.
forget that after you pop, you can banish one from the grave, and like that's another plus. If you have like Theosis, you basically add a cash monster or cash card back to your hand from the banish pile.
So that's how you keep your grave empty for another shifter.
Yeah, and you're just keeping resources too, so it's just really good. And the fact that the pop isn't once per turn.
Yeah.
And then you can actually, with this, if you don't need to pop right away, you can go into battle, and then a main phase 2 pop whatever you need to pop, and then still be able to Zeus over it. Just because the card says that you can't battle for the rest of this turn, it doesn't say that you can't battle at all this turn, so it's such a good card. And I honestly just realized this because I don't really read the cards sometimes.
Like all of us.
Yep. It's 2+ level 7 monsters. So this tournament, I think one time I went into it like with the 3 materials, and then it was able to pop 1 card on the field and still have enough to go into Zeus for 1 use at least. But yeah, I mean those are pretty standard. Donner. It's just a good way to clear your field, just because your cash monsters don't special once per turn. You can special them as long as you don't have anything else on the field on your monster zone. So this is good for clearing boards, and then just breaking your opponent's stuff and still being able to continue to do more. The last Barone, I went into it one time. You usually obviously don't want to focus going into this, but it's just another good card to have in the extra deck that the deck is able to access with like Ash and any of the cash monsters.
Yeah.
It's a good card. And then the rest were just attachments. These are obviously like, you can do whatever you prefer, but these are just the 4 attachments that I prefer.
We all know what Goliath does, Garuda, Antis, and then Omega, so it's like,
yeah,
they're all kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, and like the reason why I like Omega is because if you do get your Arise Heart removed and sent to the grave, this is just another way to like recycle it again and bring it back into your extra deck and be able to go into Arise Heart again. Obviously, Goliath is a protection from destruction. People play the fossil fusions. I just think Entis is one card that can pop anything on the field.
It's more reactive also.
Yeah, it's more reactive. And then obviously Garura is a +1. You can never go wrong with the +1. But yeah, I mean, that was the deck. Obviously, like, it's not too different from any other cash deck. It's really similar to a lot of them. At this point, I don't think people really play it any differently. So it's just a really good deck. You just have to know how to play around certain things. For my side deck, I had Nibs. I like Nib. It's just a situational card. Some people don't play around it, or some people have to like full combo and they have to play into Nib, and it's just good to like clear their board. Even if they can still end on something, they're not ending on their ideal end board, so it's just a good interruption.
Yeah.
Another choice that I changed from the deck list that Adrian provided was I like Econ.
Oh, Econ's really good.
Econ is just too good. I went X2, so I kind of like snuck into the top 8. This card right here probably could have helped me win the last round, which was one of the rounds I lost against Vanquish Soul. I forgot about the switching it to a monster's position. I was just so caught up on taking control, tributing, and taking control. If I would have used this properly, I probably would have been able to at least extend into game 3. That last round. So it's just a really good card. Both effects are just as good. You never know when you're going to be able to, prevent your opponent from attacking so that you have a monster, save your resources.
Yeah.
It's just a good card. Cyclone, this is really for Unchain and Labyrinth and any back row deck. But I was mainly I played against Labyrinth and Unchain, and Cyclone is just too good because it doesn't destroy. And then it's a quick effect, so if they try to, if Labyrinth tries to Eradicator you can chain it. And get your use out of it, and it's better than Harpies.
Yeah.
I didn't use Harpies. Like I said, I don't really like that it's not a quick effect, so I like that, this is a quick play card. I played 3 D barriers.
Kind of needed.
Yeah. I saw it like a couple times, but those couple times that I did see it, it like won me games. I played like a Sprite Synchro deck round 6 or 7, and he tried to go Gigantic and into battle phase to go into like a 4 material Zeus after. And when he went into battle phase, I kind of just activated and called XYZ so that he couldn't go into Zeus, and he was just like stunned, and that was game. And this won me the game. It's such a good card. The last set of cards I played was Exceed Encore. Adrian let me borrow these. He needed them for another event this weekend, but it was 3 Exceed Encores. This was mainly for like Pearly and other decks that play a lot of Exceeds, but I actually didn't use this. I didn't play against any Pearly this regional, so but that's what this was mainly for. And obviously, like the mirror matches, this is pretty good in certain situations. But yeah, this was my side deck. It was a fun tourney. I'm glad that I was able to like top with the deck, and it was a different deck. But Cash is just...
It's too good.
It's too good. It's good against every deck, and when you can just like main Shifter, it's hard to lose.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose.
All right, and there you have it. Jordan's top 8 Las Vegas Regional Kashtira deck. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close this video?
Don't play Cash. It's a toxic deck.
It's a PSA pretty much.
Piss people off a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprising. I've never seen people get mad until I started beating them with this deck just because of how good the deck is. But no, for real, it was fun. I love Vegas. Like I said, great experience. It's crazy that I was able to top again and with a different deck, even if it's the best deck in the format. But yeah.
What were your matchups, by the way? Before we forget.
Yeah, I played against Branded Chimera round 1. Won that. Played against Rescue Ace. Lost that in round 2. Round 3, played against like a Dark World deck. And they break game 1 and open Shifter game 2. It was just easy.
It's RIP.
Won against Branded Chimera again, Shifter again. Round 5, I played actually someone from our locals. I played against Logan, and he plays Labyrinth. And I actually had lost to him that Wednesday before regionals, and we were playing the same decks, and he was playing Labyrinth. So luckily, he misplayed, game 2 and forgot to keep his Ash inside the main deck with his cross out.
Oh
So he
man.
kind of crossed out my Ash, and he looked for his Ash and couldn't find it, and that was game 2, and he kind of just scooped after that. Round 6, I played against an Unchained Vanquish rule deck. He got me round 1, game 1 I mean, but I went first game 2, and then game 3 I opened Shifter again. And like I said, Shifter just was winning a lot of games this weekend. And then after that, I played the Sprite Synchro deck, and that went to 3 games, but luckily I got it in the 3rd game because of D barrier. Round 8, I played against an Unchained player. I beat him in game 3 also with Shifter. Games 2 and 3 I opened Shifter. I know it's a cash deck, but it's really just Shifter winning games. And then round 9, I got my butt handed to me 2-0 against Vanquish Soul. He just had the better hands. He drew crazy. He had like Fenrir, Ash, plus like Rosin. And then game 2, he opened Kurikara. There's not much I could do against that, yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I had fun. I went X2, and I still snuck into top 8. So, I actually had dipped to my hotel before they even announced it because I didn't think I was going to get top 8. And then my friends kind of called me, and I rushed back over to get my map. But
Let's go.
yeah, it was all great. And then after, obviously, just went out to Vegas, had a good time in Vegas. And yeah, that was pretty much it.
All right. Until next time, fellas. Peace.
If you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. This is fully endorsed by Crush Cards. I'm not being hostage to say these things. Definitely subscribe.
My days have been made.
You matter.
Oh god, I got to hear it in real life.